Lately, the Middle East has been on my mind. I can't think of an actual reason why I'd be having these thoughts, but I decided to channel my anxiety into a Hollywood production. After all, art imitates life, and life imitates art. And in this endless loop, it looks like we're back to square one. Hey, welcome to the channel where I go over the ideas and events that inspire the making of movies. Today, I'll be going over 2005's Jarhead.
Word that Iraq has invaded neighboring state of Kuwait.
The headlines this Thursday morning. Iraq invades Kuwait and overthrows its government.
Let me say that we would like to have military assistance in order to survive. I think the U.S. intervention at this stage is both paramount and important.
On August 2nd, 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait. Why? Well, oil, of course.
Iraq wants control of Kuwait's territory, its oil, and the money that comes with it.
From the beginning of the Gulf crisis, the underlying rationale for stopping Saddam Hussein has been oil.
Due to this aggression, the United States, along with NATO, decided to take action in protecting its interests. America requested Saudi Arabia to accept its forces in a defensive capacity. They accepted, and within a week, American forces landed in the Middle East in an operation known as Desert Shield.
The U.S. has an old agreement to help defend Saudi Arabia, and tens of millions of dollars of war supplies are stored in the Desert Kingdom.
At my direction, elements of the 82nd Airborne Division, as well as key units of the United States Air Force, are arriving today to take up defensive positions in Saudi Arabia. I took this action to assist the Saudi Arabian government in the defense of its homeland. The mission of our troops is wholly defensive.
Amongst the troops is our very own Anthony Swafford.
What kind of fucking name is that?
Now, it's fair to say that I've been living under a rock because I just found out that this movie is based on a novel. And more specifically, Anthony Swafford's real-life accounts of being a young Marine during the Persian Gulf War. In listening to Swafford recount his stories, I was surprised at how the minutiae of Gyllenhaal's character was pulled straight out of Swafford's life. I would have expected some Hollywood embellishments to be made, but it sounds like it was all Swafford.
My father was deeply opposed. He'd been in Vietnam.
You the maggot whose father served in Vietnam? Sir, yes, sir!
Look, I know you were, a scribe in boot camp.
Sir, the recruit's never been good at drawing, sir! Why the fuck are you my scribe, then?
Swafford enlisted in December 1988, and when the invasion happened in 1990, he knew it was a matter of time until the US would get involved. His time in the Marines is documented in his memoir, and in 1991 he was discharged. After his time in the Marines, he enrolled in college where his professors saw potential in his writings and encouraged him to read like a writer. He took the advice seriously and continued writing, but nothing was working. It wasn't until he started pulling from his military experience that he realized that the non-fiction parts flowed a lot better than his fictional events. In May 2001, 10 years after the Gulf War ended, he made the decision to write about his personal military experience. And that date is important. Keep that in mind. He finished the book in 8 months and it was published in March 4th, 2003, just a few weeks before the Iraq War began in March 20, 2003. Now these dates are important because they help us answer the question of, is Jarhead propaganda? And I don't think it is. Sort of. He began writing his story before the 9/11 attacks. He published his novel before the invasion of Iraq. His intention wasn't to recruit men and women into the armed forces. He was just telling his story from 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I needed to say it. I knew that generals and politicians wrote most of the books and told most of the history of wars and warfare. I also knew that they didn't tell the stories of young men and women like me. Those stories weren't told. Those books hadn't come out of the Gulf War. And I wanted to write that story.
Now, the choice to adapt the novel into a film during extreme patriotism was definitely a choice. But again, the creators decided to stay faithful to the memoir. This respect to the source material resulted in an anti-war piece that boldly showcased the mundane and frankly negative effects of enlistment.
It's not an anti-Marine Corps book, but I would argue that it's anti-war in the end, that it attempts to be.
Luckily, Swafford's accounts were preserved by the screenwriter, who also happened to be a Marine lieutenant during Vietnam, and found Swafford's time extremely relatable.
And they found a great screenwriter, a guy named Bill Broyles, who was a Marine lieutenant in Vietnam, and he said, the knuckleheads in your platoon were just like the knuckleheads in my platoon in 1966. Yeah.
Jarhead was released on November 4th, 2005. It runs for 123 minutes and is rated R for pervasive language, some violent images, and strong sexual content. In genre, it falls under biography, drama, and war. It did not do good in the box office. The budget was $72 million and it barely earned a $97 million worldwide total. This was split between a domestic of $62 million and an international of $34 million. In its opening weekend, it barely made $27.7 million, and it opened second in the box office behind Chicken Little and ahead of Saw 2. Critically speaking, the reviews are very mediocre. On Rotten Tomatoes, it currently has a 60% with the critics and a 68% with the audience. On Metacritic, it has 58, IMDb a 7 out of 10, and Letterboxd a 3.6. Roger Ebert did review the film, writing, "It is not often that a movie catches exactly what it was like to be this person in this place at this time, but Jarhead does." Jake Gyllenhaal was born on December 19, 1980 in LA. Jake plays the role of Anthony Swafford, a young Marine deployed to the Middle East fighting boredom rather than combatants. In 2005, he was in Brokeback Mountain, Proof, and Jarhead. Afterwards, in 2007, he was in Zodiac and Rendition. Director Sam Mendes was born on August 1st, 1965 in Reading, England. Prior to Jarhead, he directed American Beauty in 1999 and Road to Perdition in 2002. Afterwards, he directed Revolutionary Road in 2008 and Away We Go in 2009.
What if the press were to get a hold of this?
Douglas Freeman. Abbasi for what?
Please don't hurt me, please. I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for? Did you do something wrong?
If you recognize any movies that I mentioned here, let me know and subscribe.